So in this short video, I want to give you some guidelines on how to approach your studies for ACCA SBL, because I want you to remember, firstly, SBL is a very, very different exam to other ACCA exams which you will have done so far. On other exams, you're given lots of technical information. You're supposed to learn that technical information and then regurgitate it and use it to answer technical questions. It's not like that with SBL. And in tax, if you learn all the book, you'll pass the exam. But if you expect to pass SBL by learning blocks, please, 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 believe me, that's not how you are going to pass it. I get many students who come to me, think they can do SBL on their own actually, and they come to me after failing it twice, getting about 42, and they said, I learned all the book. I kind of think that's why you didn't pass it. Yep. It is not an exam where you learn books to pass it. To summarize, it's not a technical exam. Okay, it's not a technical exam, it's an applied exam. So yes, we have to understand some technical knowledge, and we have to be aware of that technical theoretical knowledge, but we do not regurgitate it in the exam. There are no marks for quoting theory in the exam. It's an applied exam. Yep. And also people often don't realize, because you're acting as a consultant, as an advisor, you can give an opinion. Yep. All of the things you say in your answers are not necessarily in a textbook, but your commercial experience might help you come up with some ideas. So please, please remember that. As well as remembering it, think of SBL like learning to drive. When you took your driving test, you didn't rely on reading lots of books on driving, did you? Yep. You kept getting in the car, kept getting feedback, kept getting better, and your confidence grew, and hey, you passed your test. And also, I am a big advocate of slow and steady wins the race, and SBL is much more of a marathon than a sprint. So I'm going to talk about some study techniques in a moment that I'd like you to use, but yeah, take it steady, take it steady. So just talking about a study approach, what would I suggest you do? I know you've studied and passed exams before, but hey, listen to what I've got to say. Firstly, I think it's very important when we're studying for tough professional exams of the ACCA, we are very clear why we are doing this. Yep. Why do I say that? Why do I need to know why I'm doing this? Well, if we have clarity on the payoff, what passing these exams is going to bring for us, I think it will help us on those dark days when maybe we can't be bothered to study. So be it monetary, be it career progression, be it the ability to travel, whatever it is, have a conversation with yourself. Get a picture of it, have it on the wall when you're not really feeling like studying. That's a really important motivational thing. I've also got some articles on the Student Accountant magazine site which talk about that, so you could have a look at those as well. What else? Well, I think it's really important if we have, the horizon of the exam in the distance, that we have a clear, realistic timetable of living. And what I mean by that is we have time for work, rest and play. So you have two types of work. You've got work with your employer. So we need to manage our employer, and we need to make sure that they understand we're studying for exams. It's not that we're not going to do any work, but we just need to negotiate that we do need some time to study. We're not going to be maybe working till midnight. It's also really important to have rest in the diary. I'm a big advocate. Go to bed at the same time, wake up at the same time. And also we've got study in the diary as well. Not much, but regular study. If we have regular study in the diary, it becomes a habit. When it becomes a habit, we do it without any motivation, and that's what we want. But that will normally come when we have scheduled it. And of course, rest and relaxation. We have to have, rest and relaxation and play. We have to have play as a reward for, all the work we're putting in. Yep. So make sure you get yourself a timetable of living, as I call it. What else? Well, the course is set out in a very logical, systematic way. Things are broken down into small, tiny little chunks. Yep, just like it is there. You need to go through each of those chunks in the sequential order in which they're set. Please don't go jumping around or trying doing all the questions at the end. The course isn't designed for that. Yeah, the course is building up. Yep, there's questions, consolidating things. There's not a question on every single aspect of the syllabus to begin with, but as we go through mocks, as we go through revision, we will cover questions in those areas. So please just go with it as it is set up. And the other thing when we're studying is the lessons from neuroscience. In another life, I do some work with neuroscientists. Neuroscientists are brain experts. They understand how the brain works and where it works best. So, not my opinions, the opinions of neuroscientists. What do they say? Well, the information I give you, I purposely don't make you read big, thick books because that's not going to help you pass SBL. But I try to create visuals for you in the form of mind maps. I also give you articles and videos explaining things. The point I would say is you need to take that information I give you and recode it your way. I know that might sound, well, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? Well, hey, you can take what I give you. That's fine. And some people, where the notes. The best notes are the ones you create, and those notes should be pictorial in format. They should use colors. Take my example and create your own mind maps. Yep, as a summary of each of those little syllabus areas. What you then have is a diary note that the little summation you make of whatever the topic area is, you review it maybe every 10 days for 5, maybe 10 minutes, just to remind your brain what you coded and what you were talking about. Yeah. And you do that because there's a diary note to make you do it. Yep. What then happens is that information becomes ingrained into your brain. It becomes more permanent. Yep. And what we can do as the exam gets closer is we can take those summations and shrink them down even further. Yep. So that is undisputed information from neuroscientists, how we can be the most effective learners. That's what you need to do. Might not be what you've done in the past, but that is definitely the result of lots of people, students' brains being wired up and seeing how memories are created. It's also important, going back to the timetable of living, that we have appropriate time for sleep. And maybe if you've got a smartwatch, or a smartphone, you can think about tracking your sleep. Sleep is when all of that jumble of information you've been studying gets consolidated into your brain. So it's really important to make sure you have appropriate sleep, and have a little read about what sleep can be damaged by. Alcohol is a really bad thing for your sleep. You might go to sleep because of a lot of alcohol, but it's more knocking you out than giving you a relaxed sleep. Yeah, you don't get great sleep. So think about that as well. Yeah, so that's what we got lessons from. In terms of me, I am your tutor in your pocket. So you go through things. If you have any questions about anything, send me a WhatsApp. Send it me in a text format so that there's an audit trail of your questions and I can easily see what you've been asking me, rather than big long voicemails, because I've got to look at them every time. So a text message, please. But yeah, that's your job, to ask me as much as or as little as you want. But yeah, we'll also maybe after mocks have some Zoom sessions just to connect, and I think it's good to have empathy with your fellow students. So ask me as many questions as you like. And the key thing for which there is no flexibility is mocks and homeworks. You need to, as soon as right at the beginning of the course, you have those dates in the diary. If you happen to be getting married on the day of a mock, get in contact with me and we can maybe work something out. But, you want to pass this exam. To pass this exam, we need to give you feedback. You need to learn from that feedback. There is no excuse that you're busy or work's been really busy this week. You should be managing this weeks ahead from now. So make sure those mocks are in the diary. The mocks and the homeworks, you might not see them yet because they open in a flexible window in the dates that I give right at the beginning of the course. And, I give pass assurance because people who do the homeworks and do the mocks pass the exam. So it's kind of, you don't need pass assurance if you do the homeworks and the mocks. But if you don't do the homeworks and the mocks, you're not doing what I want you to do. You're jeopardizing your chances of passing. Your pass assurance becomes invalid if you do not do the mocks and the homework as required. So make sure you do it. What else? Well, that's really it. I would also say, look after yourself. I'll post some things about mental well-being. If lots of people get stressed for exams, we can do lots of things to minimize stress, but we can't do that the day before. We can build stress-reducing behaviors into our timetable of living, meditation, mindfulness, and things like that. They really help because my main worry really for students taking the exam is that they have a blackout or a brain freeze or equivalent on the exam day. And there are techniques we can use to unlock that, but we have to learn them, we have to practice them. So look after yourself and believe. It might be tough to begin with because it is quite different to tax and technical subjects, but as we get better and improve, our marks go up, we'll definitely pass this exam. So have faith. Please take these points on board and you're going to be absolutely fantastic in this exam. Thanks for listening.